Well, hello there, stranger. It's gonna be a bit different video because I usually make all of my videos in Russian, but this one is not for you, my Russian comrades, my Russian comrades. This is a bit for you, my English viewer, because when it comes to filming in Riga, Latvia, Russians tend to do great because they actually come here, and it has come to my attention that the recent Falcon and Winter Soldier episode, a few scenes take place in Riga, but I went to their IMDb page and I haven't found anything about filming in Riga, and they 100% did not do that because I would probably know in the first place, because it would be all over the news here. So now I'm going to see those scenes and react how well did they recreate the experience of being in Riga. Let's jump in. Let's see right now.
James, you will have to become someone you claim is gone.
All right. All right, is this Riga already? Okay, yeah, this is it. My first comment is that no one ever plays football outside like this. No one actually just chills like this outside, especially this demographic. I see middle-aged people, older people here, younger people, and I don't think that you would ever find people chilling out like this. It's resettlement camp, so it's probably appropriate for this exact scene. But what I also have a problem with is this building, because the architecture is actually looks like something you would find in the old city, in the dead center of Riga, but it's too dirty. If we had refugees, we wouldn't throw them in the city, in some like abandoned building or something, because we actually have refugees here in Latvia, but they are not in Riga, they are outside Riga in different city, and they have a special like a settlement that has been built specifically for that purpose. Unrealistic, the fact that we would actually hold refugees in the center. And then again, few more things that I do not like is this, I presume a water tank that I don't think you could find anywhere in the entire country, but okay. You could say you could find this type of building in the lower income parts of the city, but because it's hard to tell whether all of these people are locals and she's the one from this like a camp or something. And also the place that they have chosen to film is actually great, because it's supposed to represent this closed community, and what a better way to show a closed community with what I think is actually a CG'd building right here, this part. Because it doesn't match color and kind of looks like a matte painting, but whatever. Probably the original building stops here, and this is the only part. And this one they added to create this sense of you know, being closed. I don't know. Just this is not backed by any research right now. I'm just saying, mostly appropriate for what they're going for. Not appropriate for depicting of how we actually live, even in the low income parts of the city. Let me put it like this. Alright, this is bullshit. If they're refugees washing their clothes out, I don't even think that like let's just imagine that this is the situation that they have in the cities. As I understand, like refugees in this resettlement camp are not welcome here, but I don't think even in that case they would be urged to wash their clothes outside in like a water in the bucket that has collected rainwater for a couple of days or whatever it's supposed to be. I can see them kind of drying them off outside, but also not on this strange construction. Anyways, what my point is that you would never find anyone in Riga who's washing and drying their clothes outside. Ridiculous. Next shot.
Golly, better come upstairs.
There's not much time. You should be with her now.
Alright, again, wooden frames of windows do not exist in Riga anymore. Most of the buildings in most of the areas now have those plastic windows, and it's actually the case now when I walk past a building and I see a wooden window, I go like, oh wow, this is something from the past. This building must haven't had a renovation for a long time, man. Quite appropriate view from the outside. Okay, and the as I understand, it's very high ceiling building inside, very accurate, because most of the building in the center are starting from 3 meters tall ceilings, so approved. That's good.
She want that.
As I understand, yeah, wow, this is okay. This is not 3 meters. This looks more like a 5 meters building. I do not see this building being used like this ever. This looks like something that the Russian businessman would already buy and turn into a theater. I do not buy this building being abandoned for the refugees. And I know I sound a bit harsh when I say abandoned by the refugees. This is how politicians here would probably see it. Okay, I don't think we can get much out of this scene, so I'll go to the next one. Alright, so this is obviously a stock footage that they got on Shutterstock. This footage is actually not that old because this building is quite new. They built it probably 3 or even maybe 2 years ago. I don't want to lie here, but it's relatively new. My problem with this is, why on earth did they choose to film the railroad bridge instead of any other bridge that we have? We have 5 bridges going across this particular river, which is the only river that goes across the city, and it separates city in 2 parts. The Old Town and the Pārdaugava part, which is basically translated as over the river part. Because I know for a fact that this building looks great at night, because it has the, how do you call it, the lighting, the sublighting. I'm just gonna show you. Yeah, so there we go. This is how it looks at night. Pretty good, pretty interesting. Yeah, this is a nice photo right here. Probably chosen to film from, well, not to film, but to buy this particular stock footage because it like encompasses most of the city on the background. It, like, all the churches are visible and stuff. But like, look at this. This is also Riga. This is the bank, and this is the one Shutil's the Cable State Bridge. I have no idea if that's correct, but that's what it is. Also, I think in night anything can look better. So let me see. This is how it looks during the day. Regular bridge, kind of at all, kind of like you could tell it has been built here during the Soviet reign. Just call it like that. Yeah, the other one is the stone bridge. Riga, it's a pretty ordinary stone, very European bridge. Let me see. Yeah, this represents it quite well. Yeah. This is the same place at night. But the one that we actually have, that is the brand new one, and is one of the most expensive bridges in Europe, because it was a very controversial site. It was a headline for a couple of weeks. It's called Southern or South Bridge, actually, now to say it correct. And you could say it's quite simple. And I would agree with you, actually. I'm not a big fan of the design, but it's like supposed to be mega constructually reliable or whatever. I don't know, but my point is that I think when people who know what Riga is think of Riga, they would depict in their head either the cable stayed bridge or the stone bridge. So it's also a nitpick, as everything here is. Well, let's see what they got next. Okay.
I heard what became of Sokovia.
Right, my first problem is we do not have these yellow manholes ever, and we do not have them this dense. They are on every street, which is very annoying, but they are at least 100 meters apart, not like this, and they are not yellow. Streetlights, I can see finding this type of streetlights in some parts of the old town, but we mostly have those like practical tall streetlights that you would find in the parts of the city which is not the center. These buildings are very representative of what it's like, what the building look like in Riga. Very on point. Let me just show you the comparison. Look at this. So this is Antonius Street. It's a bit less wide here, as most of the streets actually are, but the brick layout here is practically the same. All the buildings look exactly as in the series. We can go on, but you get the idea.
Cannibalized by its neighbors before the land was even cleared of rubble.
Oh, that's actually...
Erased from the map. Don't suppose any of you bothered visiting the memorial.
Very interesting point they snuck into there, and it's... you done there? Very interesting point they snuck into this episode, because that's exactly what happened to Latvia after a Second World War. Because he's talking about Sokovia, which is a fictional place where he's from, and after what happened in Avengers Age of Ultron, the entire country was kind of destroyed and picked apart by the vulture neighbor countries, which is basically what happened here after Second World War, because the city and most of the parts of Latvia were destroyed in a bad way, and Russians basically came here and they were like, well, you know what, we're gonna rebuild here and also repopulate, and also all of your people now work for us, and also we're gonna build our manufacturers here and you're gonna work there, and also we're gonna do whatever we like here, and basically it's our country now, so shut the fuck up. So it may be a coincidence that this particular point was made by this character at this specific location, even mentioning the memorial, which we do have here. But credits to the people who make this, if this is actually a nod to that significant historical time in Latvia. This is very interesting. This is very interesting. I would very much like to know if this is intentional here. Right, anyways, if we could go back one shot before. Also, what my problem is, I can't really make out what's written on those banners. Anyway, that's fine, we'll see in the next shot. But registration number on a car is very wrong, because we do not have numbers and digits and letters mixed in the registration number. It's usually, well, not usually, always it's 2 letters slash 4 digits. And as I can see here, I can barely make out what's there. It's like a letter, number, letter and 3 numbers. Wrong. 2 letters, 4 numbers, that's it. And also what I can't help to notice, missing those very distinct blue squares on each building that says the name of the street and the number of the street. Every building has it on each side. So not seeing it here anywhere, you can probably say that it's maybe here, but it's also supposed to be everywhere. I don't know. It gives away for me that it's not actually Riga, but still, this is fantastic. This is great job, and this represents Riga very, very well.
Don't suppose any of you bothered visiting the memorial? Of course not. Why would you? We are here.
Again, I'm gonna stop right here for a second. We do have a lot of trees like this, very thin, like newly planted, and they are all guarded by this metal cage. I do not know the exact, the specific purpose of it right now, but I do know that we used to have a giant problem with beavers back in the day, and I know they tried everything. They like put some substance on the trees so they wouldn't pick it apart, but they still have. And I also remember there was a kind of a competition for, if you can come up with a way to get rid of the beavers, then you would get like 1,000 lats, which was our currency back then. It was like 15-20 years ago maybe.
I'm gonna go on a walk.
You good?
Yeah. See you guys in a bit.
Alright, let me stop it right there. Nestandardna kafejnica. I don't see the Garum Zimmer here, but it's probably there. Yeah, let's just say it's there, so it's written. It's at least written correctly. But what I do not see is this type of place being in the center, because it doesn't have the place to sit outside, you know, those little round tables where you could put your coffee for takeout and start writing your novel, so anyone can come up to you and ask what you're doing here. Also, I should point out that to rent or buy real estate in center would be very expensive, and is actually very expensive. So this place, I don't know, I just don't see it attracting a lot of people. It doesn't look like, it doesn't have this Riga flavor to it. I don't know, I just don't know how to explain it. And also doors are closed. That's strange, because it's warm, they're supposed to be opened. I don't know. Of course, the creators of the show did not think about it, because it's not their main concern. Neither should it be. I completely agree, but I'm just saying how you can improve. If in some later works you would need to make it as accurate as possible. This is my input. All right, this is. This kind of looks like the frame for the street name. It has the correct shape, and it actually has this white border on the blue background, which is also correct. But what is this? 4/X. First of all, Latvian alphabet doesn't have X at all. Second of all, it would be the entire name of the street would be up there with the number. So anyway, great. A for effort. What do we have here? Can we have more? Okay, no, we cannot. Okay, I'm gonna assume that the top sign says Kimiska Tiritava, which is what do you call it, laundry, where you give your clothes away and they wash it from whatever you want, like blood or some stain that you cannot get rid of at home. And the bottom sign, it's probably Paklayu vehicles, which is a strange combination because, let me see, Paklayu, I want to say that it's like carpet or something you would put on the floor. Yeah, it's a carpet shop, exactly what it is. So it's a very strange combination of place, Kimiska Tiritava and Paklayu vehicles, and it's closed probably because no one goes there because it's very strange. But whatever. But also A for effort. That's great. Kafejnīca pārtraukums. Also, those buildings are a bit too rough to be in the city center. They probably would be renovated by now. Would be looking fine. This brick tiling, this mosaic, very dense brick tiling. I don't see it being anywhere in the center. Maybe a few places. And I'm sure somebody, if you watch this and you live in Riga, you would go like, oh no, it's Dzirnavu Street, it has this type of thing. Probably, I don't know, it's just not typical to Riga. This basically says cafe break in the sense of like a break you take when you do something. And but also not a place I would like to go. Kind of looks rough and empty, and the doors are closed. No working hours on the door, so very strange. Also very wrong register number. I already said that. Let's move forward. This background is great, sort of where he's walking, because I could buy it being Riga easy. Buildings, as typical to Riga as I showed you before, not higher than 5 stories, I think maybe 6 or 7 if it's a new building. If it's an old Art Nouveau building like here, it's probably 4, maybe 6 stories high. Very appropriate. Well done. Yeah, this is. I could buy it being Riga easily. This is. I can imagine this being like a stupid student bar called like Zirgs Galva, some shit like this. Yeah, buildings may be a bit too rough, maybe no. There are some places in these tight streets buildings could be rough, because people usually wouldn't go, they wouldn't need to go there specifically somewhere. Okay, this is interesting,
You dropped something.
Yeah, and again, this tiling, do not buy it for being in Riga. Too dense, too strange, but whatever. Who gives a fuck?
I was wondering when you were gonna show up.
Right, probably the most unbelievable thing that I see here is a black person in Riga. I'm sorry. This is a 100% joke. We do have 5 black people in Latvia. Probably someone would want to correct me on that, but there's so many students in RSU. I have gone to RSU. I don't know, and maybe you're right, but in my humble experience, there's not that many. make it a bit brighter here. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Didn't go see more.
Yeah, okay, and that's about it. That's it, I think. So, actually, surprisingly good, surprisingly well done, except for a few minor things that nobody in the world would pay attention except for me, because I'm actually doing this video right now. But it's very good. When I found out that Riga was in this series, I was like, yeah, that's great, and why not? Because in every movie we've been everywhere: India, Hong Kong, fucking Italy, Venice, whatever, everywhere, and not many filmmakers actually went to Baltic State to film or for their movies to take place in Baltic State. I hope it's a trend. I hope someone that possesses this Nolan's cinematic magnitude will eventually come to Riga. That's great. And if you're a filmmaker and wondering right now, what's it like? How does the something look like in Riga? Or you are trying to edit your footage as if it was shot in Riga, you can ask me. I'll give you a very constructive advice on how to make it appear as if your footage was actually shot in Riga, because this could have passed as being shot in Riga with few minor tweaks. I wouldn't even be able to tell. Well, I probably would, but I would be very, very doubting myself. And of course I went to an IMDb page and no, Riga was not listed as the filming location, so obviously they didn't go here. They didn't need to go here because it's a minor scene, very short, very brief, and but if somebody would want to make a Tenet scale movie here, that would have been great, and I can see it happening after Tenet easily, because the architecture, the layout, the places, they are not that different from Tallinn. It's bigger, yes, the Tallinn is bigger than Riga, yes, but I still think that you can pull it off here and get a great result. Anyway, thank you for watching. Weird video, probably the only one of its kind on the internet, because who the hell is doing this except for me? But I was actually happy to see Riga in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I wonder if it's going to be more in the next episode, because it's kind of open-ended whether they're going to leave Riga, or maybe the next entire episode will be taking place entirely in Riga, which would be great, because I would have more footage to react to. So we'll probably see next Friday and the couple of days after that, because I won't be making a video exactly on that same day probably, but I'm looking forward. And actually, if you know any other movie or TV series that has Riga, or fake Riga is in this case, comment. I would like to react on that, especially if I could find some hilarious cases where they're trying to come off as Riga or Latvian place in general. And anyway, if you liked, press like. If you want to subscribe, go ahead. That would have been great, helps me a lot. I don't know if I'll be making another video in English, but I thought that's appropriate for the audience that I'm making it towards, because as I've said, Russians usually do a great job when they film their TV series, mostly here, or some movies as well, actually. The one that needs to be like an old themed movie, like taking place in 18th, 19th century. And I understand, because Western culture, very unfamiliar with the Eastern European culture and places, and that's completely understandable. And I hope in the future we can only make this gap between our cultures less and less. That would have been great. Alright, so, well, thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.